Hello and welcome back to Suspended Animation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for Doom Patrol, Season 2, Episode 7, Duh Patrol. Welcome, everybody. Before we get started here, I'm going to take care of some business first, and then we will get into it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, you're going to see a video at the very end here that pops up. And basically what YouTube does, takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching, tries to match it as best as possible. One of the videos, my vast video library, and pops up there just for you. Up here is going to be, is it worth my time? Cursed is what's going to be up there. If you want to know when I'll be on live again next, you can hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com, where I've got my schedule up there. I change it out every Monday. And I've got all the links to all my social media. So that's Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. No tiers as of yet on the Patreon. And I've also got the links to this Facebook page, this YouTube page. Didn't know where I was for a second there. My Facebook page and a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. All right. With that said, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video of this, and you can comment down below in the comment section. Thank you, Vacuum Bitch, for the paddle. So, Dumb Patrol. This was an interesting episode. It really was. Cliff falling to Earth, after getting kicked out of the airlock in the last episode, and he busts right through a sign where we get to see that the dinosaur side of Animal, Vegetable, Mineral Man has written a autobiography. The way I see it, basically, is it, and her name is Denise, is what her the dinosaur's name is, which I found pretty fun. There's all kinds of little stuff buried within this episode. So if you didn't catch it the first time, I highly recommend to go back and watch it a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth time, because there's something going on out in front, obviously. Pepper, hey, knock it off. Sorry about that. Pepper decides that there's something at the door that she doesn't like, and there you go. That's what's going to happen. So, Vic decides to bring Ronnie over to the mansion to show her all the weird shit that's going on. And she is like, she's kind of blown away and thought that he was exaggerating things. He goes, no, I downplayed a lot of the shit that's going on here. There's some crazy shit that happens all the time. And in the meantime, Miranda has taken over from Jane and is an excellent cook and is making frittatas and pancakes and all kinds of shit. And Rita is going off to do a little, I guess, a little research for her one line role that she's got as the beekeeper, and she's going to shadow the beekeeper in town there. And of course, Cliff is walking back at this point to the manor because no one will pick up a guy who's a robot there at this point. So what ends up happening is they end up getting a package that says "Do not open," but that doesn't make any difference because whatever's inside of it has wafted out from between the seams because it wasn't packed properly. Remember, kids, you need to pack your shit properly, otherwise it's not gonna travel well. And the four of them get infected, except for Miranda. Miranda does not get infected. And we find out through Willoughby, who comes in. So there's a little bit I'm skipping over here. It makes them really stupid, whatever the hell they smell. And Larry wants to go and see his grandson in the hospital, even though the family have said, no, we don't want you. And also that the Bureau of Normalcy is hunting him. And so are the cops. Pretty much everyone's hunting him at this point. And Miranda is telling him, no, that's a bad idea. They need their space. Stay away for right now. Vic gets it in his head that since Niles is such a bad scientist and he's packed full of AI, the most sophisticated AI, he's going to perform surgery on Ronnie. And Ronnie's like, sure, why the fuck not? That's pretty good. Here, let me get you something to bite down on. And yeah, we find out from Willoughby, who comes by, who had sent the package, by the way, that it's actually the white space, the picture that Mr. Nobody and the Beard Hunter are trapped in, and it's been infested with something called scants. And they're like, "Well, what are scants?" And Willoughby he goes, "You know what? Go down the basement. Niles has a slideshow. It's from the Templars, the Knights Templar, on scants." Yes, the Knights Templar are actually making slideshow presentations, and he's wearing a respirator that looks like a butt. And by the way, I want one of those respirators just for the whole thing that's going on right now, because it just looks pretty damn funny, and I think it would, you know, just draw attention to people actually wearing a fucking mask for a change. But anyway, we find out from the slideshow that scants basically form bad ideas in people's heads. And from that, there's a serum that comes out of their heads called idiot or idiot. And from that, they distill that into the Uma jelly, which the scant queen drinks and gains powers. And the only way you can actually defeat this or stop this is to kill the scant queen in order to break the spell. Yeah, so of course, since everyone has bad ideas in their heads, except for Miranda at this point, and we find out that Flit is also infected as well. So Flit comes by to grab. Well, actually, Larry asks if Flit can come by and take him to the hospital because that's a great idea, right? And they have this little thing where they keep running into the cops or the Bureau of Normalcy. They get surrounded by guns. Flit takes them out, and so they dress up as doctors or just putting on lab coats is really all they do, thinking that's a great disguise. Come back, and of course the cops come back again, and Flit has to get them out of there. So Flit is also affected, but Miranda isn't. What's going on here? There's something going on with Miranda. We already saw her come back from the well. uh there's something else here that is going to probably tie into what's going on in the finale of this episode of the season. But yeah, that was kind of an interesting thing. And so they decide they're going to go into the negative space to find out what's going on with the Beard Hunter and Mr. Nobody. And Miranda's like, "Do you think we should have a plan first?" And she goes, "I know I'm new here, but I think we should have a plan." And I love Cyborg's line because, yeah, you are new here, and what I'm hearing is we just need a little more can-do attitude from you. Is what he says. And of course, they go into the fucking white space without her. Oh, yeah. So Cliff, in the meantime, is walking back, and he's dealing with his own shit at this point. And by the way, there's a lot of fucks in this movie. Or in the show. This show gives a lot of fucks. Let's just say. And Cliff alone, I think I lost count after 15. He was saying fuck quite a bit, and it was pretty damn funny. It was fucking funny, as a matter of fact. And he's gonna kill Miles, is what he says. And so he finally walks his way back to this building. He's outside this building when his legs freeze, and he runs into some idiot who thinks he's a talking statue. And the guy, by the way, is wearing he's wearing a shirt that says Virginity Rocks. And basically he won't let Cliff use his phone unless Cliff does some shout outs. One shout out for one phone call. And of course, Cliff calls the manor. No one's there because they're all in the painting. The sex goes through there, by the way, but they just aren't there. They're kind of busy doing some stuff, so they can't really answer the phone. So of course, Cliff calls up Clara, and all he gets is the answering machine for the bar, and he just unloads into that answering machine about you know how she basically ruined the chance of them getting together, all this kind of stuff. And he kind of really unfairly unloads on her, and then he starts to apologize at the end. But of course the answering machine cuts off because everyone still has answering machines in this series at this point. And of course the Virginity Rocks dude takes off. But Cliff falls over and realizes that catharsis of letting go of his anger at Clara has made his legs move again because it was all mental, as a mental block, of course. At this point, Rita, in the meantime, is actually talking to the beekeeper, and she only has the one line: "My bees, my bees, my bees, my bees," and the she ends up basically being psychoanalyzed by the beekeeper, as the beekeeper says, "I'm no big city head shrinker, but it seems like you're suffering from a bad case of imposter syndrome." And then goes into a whole bunch of, psychological, introspection of Rita. And she goes, since your mom's dead and you have no way of telling her off, you need to find a surrogate to do it. And I suggest you go and yell at my bees, is what she says. And yeah, Rita does that, and of course does not get that satisfaction that she thought she was going to get at this point. And yes, I know this is sounding more like a recap than a review of this, but you know what? There was so much to unpack in this one because it was so fucking crazy that yes, I am going to recap a little bit of it too. Quite a bit of it, as a matter of fact. So Larry, Vic, Ronnie, and now Miranda are in the white space there, and they run into Beard Hunter, who is now dumb, but he has painted the front half. He's in his underwear and painted the front of him white so he can hide against the scants. Larry, of course, doesn't think this is a prudent plan when they see some scants coming by, and they end up getting taken hostage. Everyone except for Beard Hunter, who is painted white. And by the way, they ask where Mr. Nobody is, and I love this. They said, he basically, Beard Hunter tells them that Mr. Nobody got a gig working on an animated show, and they even put in the corner, Harley Quinn on DC Universe, which I thought was fucking hilarious. I actually had to roll it back a couple times because it was just making me laugh. And yeah, now the guy he won't even talk to them, is what they said. Talking about Alan Tudyk on this one, which yes, again, busy fucking guy. This guy is in like 7 different shows coming out this year. So and I'm not shitting you, it's like 7 different shows. So that was kind of funny. That's how they got around Mr. Nobody not being in the painting, or the blank painting now. Yeah, as he put it, he's on some animated bullcrap, is what he said. Yeah. So they all end up taking back to the Scant Queen's lair, I guess it is, and they're being drained of idiot. And the queen shows up and basically says, "Yeah, we're distilling this down to Uma jelly, which gives me enlightenment and powers and all this stuff." And she drinks it. We see her float up, and she feels real strong. And she looks at Miranda and goes, "You're different. Why are you not able to? Why are you able to resist me?" Is what she says. And she goes, I can smell bad ideas inside of you, like really bad ideas, but they're not coming forth." And she's also giving the other people some truth as well, that yeah, she puts it, Ronnie and Vic are each other's bad idea, like a duck making friends with a lobster. And for Larry, of course, it's not Larry himself, but actually the entity inside of him staying on Earth is a bad idea. And so what ends up happening is that Miranda brings out Silver Tongue. Silver Tongue pops the queen's waterbed, and so water is coming out. And that is when Rihanna, I believe it is, the lightning personality comes out and electrifies the water, which the Scants and the queen are all around. And the queen blows up and dies and releases them from their dumbness at this point. Yeah, and you're saying, what the hell's going on with Niles? Where is he? Well, he is out in the Klondike, trying to reconnect with Dorothy's mother to basically say what the hell's going on with all of this, and instead ends up contacting Candlemaker. He ends up going to the ancestral home, his wife's ancestral home, which is that campfire, which we saw at the Manicore. The Manicore had this, the Ring of Stones and the fire. And Candlemaker basically says, that his wife's ancestors created him and put him into Dorothy. Um, and they don't, he didn't say why exactly, but now Niles knows that he has to kill Dorothy. And so, of course, he brings Willoughby back. And Willoughby is now tasked with killing Dorothy or taking her away someplace. We don't know. The language was a little bit vague there. And Rita ends up becoming the beekeeper. She finds her superhero personality. She's able to work through her little things and stretches her arm and knocks out a mugger. And yeah. And Cliff, poor Cliff. Cliff finally makes it all the way home. And who's waiting for him but Clara? And Clara says she's received. Remember that tape he was looking for? Remember I was talking about the tape is important? Niles' confession on there. She goes, I received this in the mail. And she goes, who is this guy Niles Calder? Did he do all this shit to you? And, basically she got someone sent her the tape. I want to say it was Niles. And she knows now what Cliff went through, all the stuff that he went through. And she kind of wants to have a relationship with him now at this point. And that's, we leave off actually with Niles and Willoughby making their pact, and that's where we kind of leave off there. So damn good episode. We had a lot of stuff that happened, and we had people, again, like I said, working through their issues, and we're getting the group back together again. They split all apart in the first half of the season, if you will, or actually we're more than halfway through the season, since we only have 2 episodes left. We have episode 8 and episode 9, because episode 10 got cut due to the pandemic. They had some more scenes they had to film, and they weren't able to finish it. And hopefully they do finish it out and tack it on to a season 3, if there's a season 3, which I hope we get. AT&T would be a fucking assholes if they don't actually renew this series. But yeah, we've got 2 more episodes left. And next week is going to be Dorothy centric, because Dorothy's getting ready to die or get taken away. We don't know exactly what's going to happen with Dorothy at this point. And yeah, it's some good stuff. And we could see why Cliff wasn't in this episode, or why we needed to remove him from this episode, because he has no sense of smell. So he's dumb as it is anyway, but still, he wouldn't have been going along with those really bad ideas. And I love what Ronnie says. Ronnie, oh, that was the other thing I forgot, is that Ronnie actually took a little bit of the Uma jelly with her. Yeah, so she has a bit of the Uma jelly. And as she called the queen, literally the queen of bad ideas is what she was, which I thought was funny. And Gerard Way, by the way, who is My Chemical Romance, he's in that. He's also the creator of Umbrella Academy. He was one of the writers for the original comic for this episode for the Queen. That's one of his ideas, by the way, which I thought was really fucking brilliant. Really, really brilliant. And it's just that out there, that thinking out of the box kind of stuff that I really like, that is just so far out there that you're like, what the fuck? Well, that actually kind of makes sense. And yeah, that's what I like about this series and this show. And that's why I want to keep it coming, keep it going for at least another 5 or 6 more seasons, until it gets really, really pathetic, and and they're just jumping sharks and whatnot. Oh man. So what do my lurkers out there think? I know no one else has really said anything. Oh, the movie Fanobi, who popped in for a second, hadn't seen the show, and then took off. So just gave us some well wishes. Yes, I know Comic-Con is virtual Comic-Con is in effect. And I'll be talking about that a little bit too. I might do a special video tomorrow and talk about virtual Comic-Con. It's not really all it's cracked up to be. So yeah. But what else do I have going on this week? Like I said, tomorrow will probably be a virtual Comic-Con talking point thing. I'll go over some stuff that happened during virtual Comic-Con. Saturday will be Saturday morning blast off as usual, although it'll probably roll into some of the Comic-Con stuff too. Sunday again will probably be some Comic-Con stuff. I haven't really scheduled anything out because I don't know where to really start with it. It's kind of in a malleable state at the moment. But Monday is going to be Stargirl. Tuesday will be Is It Worth My Time? And I haven't figured out what I'm doing as of yet, but I might do a throwback to a cult movie that I don't think a lot of you have actually seen out there called Big Man Japan. Yeah, it's a very weird Japanese movie about the basically the superheroes that turn giant and fight giant kaiju and stuff like that. Yeah, and it's kind of a riff on that one. So CBM says it might have been it might have actually been hilarious to see Robot Man be the least impulsive character in a room. Yeah, it might have, CBM, it would have been funny, but at the same time, as Mr. Nobody said in the first season, that if stupidity were a superpower, you would be fucking Superman, is what he tells Robot Man. So I don't know, it probably would have been hilarious to see him be probably just slightly smarter than everybody else for a change, but not be smart. But I can see why they didn't do it, because they wanted to introduce Miranda, bring her in, and then also show how different she is, that she is not being infected, but the other personalities are, or at least Flit was, but no one else was. It didn't look like Silver Tongue was infected, and the one with the lightning bolts too wasn't infected. I want to say her name's Rianne, but I'm not sure on that one. There's too many folks in the underground. Oh yeah, and that was the other thing I forgot too, was Scarlet Harlot. Her station is closed. So something's going on in the underground. And yeah, Lucy Fugue, thank you. Yes, Lucy Fugue. It was kind of funny they didn't have her in the credits, even though the actress that plays her was there. They had all the other actresses that were there, but they didn't have Lucy Fugue in the credits. So, but yeah, Scarlet Harlot's station is closed. And so we've got a mystery brewing in the underground, and Jane, of course, having to figure out what that's all about, too. Like I said, there was a lot of stuff in this episode, and there's a lot of little things that are in there, too, that are scattered throughout. Little Easter eggs here and there, and they're always good to go back and take a look at these, these episodes, especially this show. This series is so well put together. I keep saying this time and time again. Jeremy Carver just knows what he's doing when he puts this stuff together, and you can see once it's going through its arc and it's coming down in the bottom section there. Oh yeah, they actually planned all this stuff out, and they know how it's going to go till the end of the season, even though it looks like it might be some random stuff. Even Larry says at one point, we usually kind of just wing it and things go our way, which is how things feel on this, in this show. But it's really not. It's very, very well thought out. It's a hard thing to do, to make organized chaos, and that's what Carver has done with this. He's made some really organized chaos out of this show, and it's some good stuff. It really is. I just still can't believe there's only 2 episodes left, and then yeah, I'm gonna have to find something else. So, and there's stuff coming. There is stuff coming, definitely down the pipe there. Comic-Con has been releasing some stuff, and we'll see what's out there. CBM says it's kind of hilarious that Kipling not wearing a mask was a dumb decision. Seems kind of relevant. Yeah. Well, he got infected is what happened, and then took off the mask as part of his his plan. His plan was to die in order to take out the queen. I don't know what that was all about, but sure. um, so yeah, his that you're right though. Not wearing a mask is a very dumb decision, and it's very relevant. And the thing was, this was actually filmed before the pandemic, obviously. So having that kind of kismet, if you will, of things kind of just coming together and being at the right time, at the right place and the right time. Yeah, that was pretty brilliant right there. So all right, I'm gonna let you guys go for the night. Like I said, I'll probably be back tomorrow with some Comic Con news, and we'll see what's going on, the pre-taped Comic Con stuff. Uh, oh yeah, I'll have some commentary about that. But yeah, I'm gonna let you guys go. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video at the very end here. If you like what you see there, hit the subscribe button. If you want to know when I'm on live again next, you get the bell. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at my schedule up there. I do put stuff on there. If I'm going to be coming on like in the middle of the day or something like that, I will put it on my schedule and also on my Facebook page, because I put my schedule up on my Facebook page as well. And there's a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. So until then, I'm going to let you guys go. Be safe, be well, and take care. And I will see you probably tomorrow. So don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may end up hooked up to a machine getting drained of idiot. And you really don't want that, because basically the end product is once you're drained, you just shit your pants and die. Not a good way to go. Thanks, everybody. I will see you most likely tomorrow. Until then, have a good night and stay safe out there. Night, everyone.